Shamut, chapter 11. And Yahweh said to Moshe, I am bringing yet one more plague on Pharaoh and on Mitzrayim. After that he is going to let you go from here. When he lets you go, he shall drive you out from here altogether. Speak now in the hearing of the people. Let every male ask from his neighbor, and every female from her neighbor, objects of silver and objects of gold. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites, and the male Musha was very great in the land of Mitzrayim, in the eyes of Pharaoh's servants, and in the eyes of the people. And Musha said, Thus said Yahweh, about midnight I am going into the midst of Mitzrayim, and all of the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female servant who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Mitzrayim, such as has never been or ever been again. But against any of the children of Israel no dog shall move its tongue against male or against beast, so that you know that Yahweh makes distinction between Mitzrayim and Israel. And all these servants of yours shall come down to me and bow down to me, saying, Get out, you and all the people at your feet. And after that I shall go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in great displeasure. But Yahweh said to Moshe, Pharaoh is not going to listen to you in order to multiply my wonders in the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe and Aharon did all these wonders before Pharaoh. However, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let go of the children of Israel out of his land. Chapter 12. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aharon in the land of Mitzrayim, saying, This month is the beginning of months for you. It is the first month of the year for you. Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, On the 10th day of this month, each one of them is to take for himself a lamb according to the house of his father, a lamb for a household. And if the household is too small for a lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of beings, according to each male's need. You make your count for the lamb. Let the lamb be a perfect one, a year-old male. Take it from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. Then all the assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it between evenings. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat. And they shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted in fire, with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat it raw, nor boiled at all with water, but roasted in fire, its head with its legs and its inward parts. And do not leave it until Bakar, and what remains until Bakar you are to burn with fire. And this is how you eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. This is the Pesach of Yahweh. And I shall pass through the land of the Mitzrayim on that night, and shall smite all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both male and beast, and on all the mighty ones of Mitzrayim I shall execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I smite the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall observe it as a festival to Yahweh throughout your generations. Observe it as a festival, an everlasting law. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that being shall be cut off from Israel. And the first day is a Kadush gathering, and on the 7th day You have a Kadush gathering. No work is done at all on them. Only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. And you shall guard the Matsuth. For on the same day I brought your divisions out of the land of Mitzrayim, and you shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. And on the 14th day of the month, in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month, in the evening. For 7 days no leavened bread is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether sojourner or native of the land. Do not eat that which is leavened in all your dwellings. You are to eat unleavened bread. And Moshe called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, Go out and take lambs for yourselves, according to your clans, and slaughter the Passah. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in its blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of his house until the Bakar. And Yahuwah shall pass on to smite the Mitzrites, and shall see the blood on the lintel and on the 2 doorposts. And Yahuwah shall pass over the door, and not allow to the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. And you shall guard this word as a law for you and for your banim forever. It shall be when you come to the land which Yahuwah gives you, as he promised, that you shall guard his service. And it shall be, when your children say to you, What does this service mean to you? Then you shall say, It is the Pesach, slaughtering of Yahuwah, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Mitzrites and delivered the households, and the people bowed their heads and did obedience. And the children of Israel went away and did so, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe and Aharon, so they did. And it came to be at midnight that Yahuwah smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Mitzrites, and there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aharon by night, and said, Arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go, serve Yahuwah as you have said. So, take both your flocks and your herds as you have said, and go, and you shall barak me too. And the Mitzrites urged the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, We are all dying. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they have asked of the Mitzrites objects of silver, objects of gold, and garments. And Yahuwah gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites, so that they gave them what they asked, and they plundered the Mitzrites. And the children of Israel departed from Ramses to Sukkot, about 600,000 males on foot, besides the little ones, and mixed multitude went up with them also, flocks and herds, very much livestock. And they baked unleavened cakes of dough, which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children of Israel who lived in Mitzrayim was 430 years. And it came to be at the end of 430 years on that same day, it came to be that all the divisions of Yahuwah went out from the land of Mitzrayim. It is a night to be observed unto Yahuwah for bringing them out of the land of Mitzrayim. This night is unto Yahuwah to be observed by all the children of Israel throughout their generation. And Yahuwah said to Musha and Aharon, "This is the law of the Pasach. No bond of a stranger is to eat of it, but any servant a male has bought for silver, when you have circumcised him, then let him eat of it. A sojourner and a hired servant does not eat of it. It is eaten in one house. You are not to take any flesh to the outside of the house, nor are you to break any bone of it. All the congregation of Israel are to perform it. And when a stranger sojourns with you, and shall perform the Pasach to Yahuwah, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and perform it. And he shall be as a native of the land, but let no uncircumcised eat it. There is one Torah for the native born and for the stranger who sojourns among you. And all the children of Israel did as Yahuwah commanded Musha and Aharon, so they did. And it came to be on that same day that Yahuwah brought the children of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim according to their divisions. Chapter 13. And Yahuwah spoke to Musha, saying, Kadush to me all the firstborn, the one opening the womb among the children of Israel, among male and among beast, it is mine. And Moshe said to the people, Remember this day in which you went out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery, for by strength of hand Yahuwah brought you out of this place, and whatever is leaven shall not be eaten. Today you are going out in the month Abib, and it shall be, when Yahuwah brings you into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day is a festival to Yahuwah. Unleavened bread is to be eaten the 7 days. Whatever is leavened is not to be seen with you, and leaven is not to be seen with you within all your border. And you shall inform your bond in that day, saying, It is because of what Yahuwah did for me when I came up from Mitzrayim. And it shall be as a sign to you on your hand and as a reminder between your eyes, that the Torah of Yahuwah is to be in your mouth. For with a strong hand Yahuwah has brought you out of Mitzrayim, and you shall guard this law at its appointed time from year to year. And it shall be when Yahuwah brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you, to your fathers, and gives to you, that you shall pass over to Yahuwah, every one opening the womb, and every firstborn that comes from your livestock. The males belong to Yahuwah, but every firstborn donkey you are to ransom with the lamb. And if you do not ransom it, then you shall break its neck, and every firstborn of male among your banim you are to ransom. And it shall be, when your banim asks you in time to come, saying, What is this? Then you shall say to him, By strength of hand Yahuwah brought us out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. And it came to be, when Pharaoh was too hardened to let us go, that Yahuwah killed every firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both the firstborn of male and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I am slaughtering to Yahuwah every male that opens the womb, but every firstborn of my banim I ransom. And it shall be as a sign on your hand, and as a frontlet between your eyes. For by strength of hand Yahuwah brought us out of Mitzrayim. And it came to be, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim did not lead them by the way of the land of the Pelashites, though that was nearer, for Elohim said, Lest my people regret when they see fighting, and return to Mitzrayim. So Elohim led the people around by the way of the wilderness of the Sea of Reeds, and the children of Israel went up armed from the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe took the bones of Yosef with him, for he certainly made the children of Israel swear, saying, Elohim shall certainly visit you, and you shall bring my bones from here with you. And they departed from Sukkot, and camped in Atham, at the edge of the wilderness. And Yahuwah went before them day by day in a column of cloud, to lead the way, and by night in a column of fire, to give them light, so as to go by day, night by night. The column of cloud did not cease by day, nor the column of fire by night before the people. Chapter 14. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they turn and camp before Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea opposite of Baal Sapun. Camp before it by the sea. And Pharaoh shall say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land, the wilderness has closed them in. And I shall harden the heart of Pharaoh, and he shall pursue them, but I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh, and over all his army. And the Mitzrites shall know that I am Yahuwah. And they did so, and it was reported to the sovereign of Mitzrayim that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? So he made his chariot ready and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Mitzrayim with officers over all of them. And Yahuwah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and he pursued the children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out with a high hand. And the Mitzrites pursued them, and all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horse riders and his army, and reached them camping by the sea besides Pi-hahiroth, before Baal Zaphon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes and saw the Mitzrites coming up after them, and they were greatly afraid. So the children of Israel cried out to Yahuwah, and they said to Moshe, Did you take us away to die in the wilderness because there are no graves in Mitzrayim? What is this you have done to us, to bring us out of Mitzrayim? Is this not the word that we spoke to you in Mitzrayim, saying, Leave us alone, and let us serve the Mitzrites? For it would have been better for us to serve the Mitzrites than to die in the wilderness. And Moshe said to the people, Do not be afraid. Stand still, and see the deliverance of Yahuwah, which he does for you today. For the Mitzrites whom you see today, you are never to see again. Yahuwah fights for you, and you keep silent. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Why do you cry to me? Speak to the children of Israel, and let them go forward. And you, lift up your rod, and stretch out your hand over the sea, and divide it, and let the children of Israel go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I am hardening the hearts of the Mitzrites, and they shall follow them. And I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh, and over all his army, his chariots, and his horse riders. When the Mitzrites shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I am esteemed through Pharaoh and his chariots and his horse riders, and the messenger of Elohim who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them, and the column of cloud went before them and stood behind them, and came between the camp of the Mitzrites and the camp of Israel, and it was the cloud and the darkness, and it gave light by night, and the one did not come near the other all night. And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahuwah caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. And the Mitzrites pursued, and went after them, and in the midst of the sea, all the horses of Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horse riders. And it came to be, and the Bakar watched, that Yahuwah looked down upon the army of the Mitzrites through the column of fire and cloud, and he brought the army of the Mitzrites into confusion. He took off their chariot wheels so that they drove them with difficulty. The Mitzrites said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahuwah fights for them against the Mitzrites." Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, and let the waters come back upon the Mitzrites, on their chariots and on their horse riders." And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its usual flow at the break of day, with the Mitzrites fleeing into it. Thus Yahuwah overthrew the Mitzrites in the midst of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horse riders and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them, and not even one of them was left. And the children of Israel walked on dry ground in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. Thus Yahuwah saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Mitzrites. And Israel saw the Mitzrites dead on the seashore. And Israel saw the great work which Yahuwah had done in Mitzrayim. And the people revered Yahuwah, and believed Yahuwah and his servant Moshe. Chapter 15. Then Moshe and the children of Israel sang this song to Yahuwah, and spoke, saying, "I sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and the rider he has thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and my song. He has become my deliverance. He is my Al, and I praise him. Elohim of my father, and I exalt him. Yahuwah is the male of battle. Yahuwah is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The depths covered them. They went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has become great in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has crushed the enemy. And in the greatness of your excellence, you pulled down those who rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath. It consumed them like stubble. And with the wind of your nostrils, the water were heaped up. The floods stood like a wall. The depths became stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, "I pursue, I overtake, I divide the spoil. My being is satisfied on them. I draw out my sword, my hand destroys them. You blew your wind, the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahuwah, among the mighty ones? Who is like you, great in Kadashah, awesome in praises, working wonders? You stretched out your right hand, and the Eret swallowed them. And your kindness you led the people whom you have redeemed, and your strength you guided them to your Kadush dwelling. Peoples heard and trembled. Anguish gripped the inhabitants of Palashat. Then the chiefs of Adum were troubled. The mighty males of Moab, trembling lips grips them. All the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them. By the greatness of your arm they are as silent as stone, until your people pass over, O Yahuwah, until the people whom you have bought pass over. You bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Yahuwah, which you have made strong, made for your own dwelling, the Mikdash of Yahuwah, which your hands have prepared. Yahuwah reigns forever and ever, for the horses of Pharaoh went with his chariots and his horse riders into the sea, and Yahuwah brought back the waters of the sea upon them. And the children of Israel went on dry ground in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the Nabiyah, the sister of Aharon, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the female went out after her with timbrels and dances. And Miriam answered them, "Sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea." And Moshe brought Israel from the sea of reeds. They went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. They came to Marah, and they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. So the name of it was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, "What are we to drink?" Then he cried out to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah showed him a tree. And when he threw it into the waters were made sweet. There he made a law and a right ruling for them, and there he tried them. He said, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and shall do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his commands, and shall guard all his laws, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mitzrites, for I am Yahuwah who heals you. And they came to Alim, where there were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. Chapter 16. And they departed from Alim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Zin, which is between Alim and Zinaim, on the 15th day of the second month after their going out of the land of Mitzrayim. And all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Musha and Aharon in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, if only we had died by the hand of Yahuwah in the land of Mitzrayim, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to satisfaction. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to be put all this assembly to death with hunger. And Yahuwah said to Musha, see, I am raining bread from the Shemayim for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, in order to try them, whether they walk in my Torah or not. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in. It shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Musha and Aharon said to all the children of Israel, at evening you shall know that Yahuwah has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. And the Bakar, you shall see the esteem of Yahuwah, for he hears your grumblings against Yahuwah. And what are we that you grumble against us? And Musha said, and that Yahuwah gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the Bakar bread for satisfaction. For Yahuwah hears your grumblings which you make against him. And what are we? Your grumblings are not against us, but against Yahuwah. And Musha said to Aharon, say to all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before Yahuwah, for he has heard your grumblings. And it came to be as Aharon spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and see, the esteem of Yahuwah appeared in the cloud. And Yahuwah spoke to Musha, saying, I have heard the grumblings of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, between the evenings you are to eat meat, and Bakar you are to be satisfied with bread. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim. And it came to be that the quails came up at evening and covered the camp, and all the Bakar, the dew lay all around the camp. And the layer of dew went up, and see, on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance, as fine as the frost of the ground. And the children of Israel saw, and they said to each other, what is it? For they did not know what it was. And Musha said to them, it is the bread which Yahuwah has given you to eat. This is the word which Yahuwah has commanded. Let every male gather according to each one's need, an umar for each being, according to the number of beings. Let every male take for those who are in his tent. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered, some more and some less, and they measured it by umars. And he who gathered much did not have much. He who gathered little did not have too little, each one gathering according to his need. And Musha said, let no one leave of any of it till the Bakar. And they did not listen to Musha, so some of them left part of it until the Bakar, and it bred worms and stank. And Musha was wroth with them, and he gathered it every Bakar, each one according to his need. And when the greater light became hot, it melted. It came to be, on the 6th day, that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 umars for each one. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Musha. And he said to them, this is what Yahuwah said, tomorrow is a rest, a Shabbat, Kadush, to Yahuwah. That which you bake, bake, and that which you cook, cook, and lay up for yourselves all that is left over to keep it until the Bakar. They laid it up till the Bakar as Moshe had commanded, and it did not stink, and no worm was in it. And Moshe said, Eat it today, for today is a Shabbat to Yahuwah. Today you do not find it in the field. Gather it 6 days, but on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, there is none. It came to be on earth that some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather, but they found none. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, How long shall you refuse to guard my commands and my Torah? See, because Yahuwah has given you the Shabbat, therefore he is giving you bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Let each one stay in his place. Do not let anyone go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Israel called its name Manah. And it was like white corduroy seed, and the taste of it was like thin cakes made with honey. And Moshe said, This is the word which Yahuwah has commanded. Fill an umar with it to keep for your generations, so that they see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe said to Aharon, Take a pot and put a umar of manna in it, and put it down before Yahuwah to keep for your generations. As Yahuwah commanded Moshe, so Aharon put it down before the witness to keep. And the children of Israel ate manna for 40 years until they came to an uninhabited land. They ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. And an omar is 1/10 of an ephah. Chapter 17. And all the congregation of the children of Israel departed on their journey from the wilderness of Zin, according to the command of Yahuwah, and camped in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people strove with Moshe, and said, Give us water to drink. And Moshe said to them, Why do you strive with me? Why do you try Yahuwah? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people grumbled against Moshe, and said, Why did you bring us out of Mitzrayim, to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? Then Moshe cried out to Yahuwah, saying, What am I to do with this people? Yet a little, and they shall stone me. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Pass over before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the rod with which you struck the river, and go. See, I am standing before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall smite the rock, and water shall come out of it, and the people shall drink. And Moshe did so before the eyes of the elders of Israel. He called the name of that place Massah and Meribah, because of the strife of the children of Israel, and because they tried Yahuwah, saying, Is Yahuwah in our midst or not? And Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moshe said to Yahusha, Choose for us males to go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I am stationing myself on the top of the hill with the rod of Elohim in my hand. And Yahusha did as Moshe said to him, to fight with Amalek. And Moshe and Aharon and Hur went up to the top of the hill. It came to be when Moshe held up his hand that Israel prevailed, and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moshe's hands were heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aharon and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the greater light. And Yahusha defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Write this for a remembrance in the book, and recite it in the hearing of Yahusha, that I shall completely blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the Shemayim. And Moshe built an altar and called its name Yahuwah Nisi. For he said, Because a hand is on the throne of Yah, Yahuwah is to fight against Amalek from generation to generation. Chapter 18. And Yithro, the Kuhan of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, heard all that Elohim had done for Moshe and for Israel his people, that Yahuwah had brought Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. And Yithro, Musha's father-in-law, took Zipporah, the wife of Musha, after he had sent her back, and her two banim, who the name of one was Garashum, for he said, I myself have been a sojourner in a foreign land, and the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the Alaim of my father was my assistance, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. Yithro, Musha's father-in-law, came with his banim and with his wife to Musha in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of Alaim. And he had said to Musha, I, your father-in-law, Yithro, am coming up to you with your wife, and her two banim with her. And Musha went out to meet his father-in-law, and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their welfare, and they went into the tent. And Musha told his father-in-law all that Yahuwah had done to Pharaoh and to the Mitzrites for Yisrael's sake, and all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Yahuwah had delivered them. And Yithro rejoiced for all the good which Yahuwah had done for Yisrael, whom he had delivered out of the hands of the Mitzrites. And Yithro said, Baruch be Yahuwah, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrites. Now I know that Yahuwah is greater than all the mighty ones, for in the matter in which they acted proudly above them. Then Yithro, the father-in-law of Musha, brought a burnt offering and other slaughterings unto Alaim. And Aharon came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with the father-in-law of Musha before Alaim. And it came to be on the next day that Musha sat to rightly rule the people, and the people stood before Musha from Bakar until evening. And when the father-in-law of Musha saw all that he did for the people, he said, What is this that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself, and all the people stand before you from Bakar until Akab? And Musha said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to seek Alaim. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I rightly rule between one and another, and make known the laws of Alaim and his Torah. And the father-in-law of Musha said to him, What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you shall certainly wear yourselves out, for the matter is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it by yourself. Now, listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and Alaim be with you. Stand before Alaim for the people, and you shall bring the matters to Alaim. And you shall warn them of the laws and the Torah, and show them the way in which they should walk, and the work which they should do. But you yourself seek out from all the people able males who revere Alaim, males of truth, hating unfair gain, and place them over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every great matter to you, but they themselves rightly rule every small matter. So make it lighter for yourself, and they shall bear with you. If you do this word, and Alaim shall command you, then you shall be able to stand, and all this people also go to their place in peace. And Musha listened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he said. And Musha chose able males of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, rulers of tens. And they rightly ruled the people at all times. The hard matters they brought to Musha, but they rightly ruled every small matter themselves. And Musha sent off his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. Chapter 19. And the 3rd month, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on this day they came to the wilderness of Zinaim, for they departed from Raphidim, and had come to the wilderness of Zinaim, and camped in the wilderness. So Yisrael camped there before the mountain. And Musha went up to Alaim, and Yahuwah called to him from the mountain, saying, This is what you are to say to the house of Yaakov, and declare to the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Mitzrites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the Eretz is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of Kohanim and a Kadosh nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of all the people, and put before them all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah has spoken we shall do. So Moshe brought back the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, see, I am coming to you in a thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. And Moshe reported the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, go to the people and kadosh them today and tomorrow, and they shall wash their garments and shall be prepared for the third yom. For on the third yom Yahuwah shall come down from Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people, and you shall make a border for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall certainly be put to death. Not a hand is to touch it, but he shall certainly be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether male or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, let them go up to the mountain. And Moshe came down from the mountain to the people and kadushed the people, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, be prepared by the third day, do not come near a wife. And it came to be on the third day in the Bakar that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountains. And the cloud of the ram's horn was very loud, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim. And they stood at the foot of the mountain, and Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire. And its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. When the blast of a ram's horn sounded long, and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice. And Yahuwah came down upon Mount Sinai from the top of the mountain, and Yahuwah called Moshe from the top of the mountain. And Moshe went up, and Yahuwah said to Moshe, go down, warn the people, lest they break through unto Yahuwah to see, and much of them fall. And let the Kohanim who come near Yahuwah kadosh themselves too, lest Yahuwah break out against them. And Moshe said to Yahuwah, the people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, make a border around the mountain and kadosh it. And Yahuwah said to him, come, go down, and then come up, you and Aharon with you, but do not let the Kohanim and the people break through to come up to Yahuwah, lest he break out against them. And Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them. Chapter 20. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of that which is in the Shamayim above, which is in the Eretz beneath, or which is in the waters under the Eretz. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, am a jealous owl, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Shabbat Yom, to kadosh it. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah, your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your bond, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the Shemayim, the Eretz, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah barak the Shabbat Yom, and Kadush it. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's house. You do not covet your neighbor's wife. You do not covet his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the peoples saw the thunders and lightnings, flashes, and sounds of a ram's horn, the mountains smoking. And the people saw it, and trembled, and stood at a distance, and said to Moshe, You speak with us, and we hear, but let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moshe said to the people, Do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, in order that his reverence be before you, so that you do not crime. So the people stood at a distance, but Moshe drew near to the dense cloud where Elohim was. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Say this to the children of Israel, You yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from the Shemayim. You do not make besides me mighty ones of silver, and you do not make mighty ones of gold for yourselves. Make an altar of Eretz for me, and you shall slaughter on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle, and every place where I cause my name to be remembered. I shall come to you and barak you. And if you make me an altar of stone, do not build it of cut stone, for if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. Nor do you go up by the steps to my altar, lest your nakedness be exposed on it.